I believe the church is losing because we are not public. The churches refuse to deal with hot button issues, and we have a responsibility to deal with those. We should be talking about not overwhelming, but we should be talking about transgenderism, critical race theory, LGBTQ, how it's affecting the community and the church.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to Our Watch. I am Tim Thompson. We've got a very important topic to talk about today. And to help us with that, please say hello to Brother Slim. Slim, how are you?
All right, sir. Thank you, Pastor Tim. It's good to be here.
It's good. It's good to have you.
Yes.
Before we get into the topic of today, we're going to be talking, well, the topic is going to be multifold, I think. We're going to be talking about marriage. We're going to be talking about race. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Before we get into that, I just want to talk about how you and I met. We were just talking about this the other day, how you and I met. It was funny because you've been doing what you do for a long time, and I've been doing what I do for a long time. And years ago, I think maybe 6 years ago, I was up in Sacramento, and I was there to speak against the sexual indoctrination of our children in the public school system. And when I was there speaking at this event, we were on the east steps of the Capitol there in Sacramento, and I remember getting done speaking there, and we were, the whole group, big group, we were walking from those steps over to the California Board of Education, and each of us were going to speak at that. And so as I'm walking across the lawn there, it's a big area, I saw in the distance this really tall black guy with this rainbow flag sign, and I thought, oh man, I'm in trouble. This guy's loud, he's big, he's a black guy, and he's clearly on the left. He's got this rainbow flag, and I thought, oh gosh, here he's gonna just disrupt everything we're doing. And as I got closer, I saw your sign, and we see, if you could show that sign in the background. There's that sign of critical, well, no, there's the critical race theory, but if you look on the left there's that sign. That's the sign that you had. And I remember seeing in the distance thinking, oh gosh, all right, here we go. But then when I got close and I could see what it actually said, I was like, oh good, he's on our side. He's on our side. And there's no doubt there are different sides right now. And the way I see it, you're either on the side of light and goodness and God, or you're on the side of darkness and evil and really Satan. And those are the two sides of these issues, because what's under attack is what God designed from the very beginning. So it was neat getting to meet you then, and now I see you all the time. I know my audience that lives in Southwest Riverside County, they see you all the time. So why do you get out with the signs? Why do you do what you do?
I think as Christians, we have a moral obligation to speak up for what's right and what honors God. And although we live in a culture where people are offended, or I talk to people all the time, they say, well, I don't believe in your God. Okay, that's fine. You have a right not to believe in my God. But because you're forcing your gods on me and I have no voice, and you're teaching our children things. See, it'd be different if you were talking to adults. It still would be wrong because you're lying to them. But the fact that you're forcing kids to be indoctrinated by nonsense, everyone knows it's nonsense. And I'm saying, I'm of the opinion, once I know something is true, nobody, no thing is going to stop me from standing on truth. I'm willing to lay my life down for the truth and protect these children. I believe every adult has that responsibility. And if we don't, we're going to lose it. And I enjoy talking to people. I've been doing this for almost 40 years, going across the country with my signs and challenging. And what I found is the majority of people agree with us, but they never see us publicly defending our cause, because the wackos are always intimidating and using fear-mongering to prevent us from sharing our First Amendment right, our voice, to disagree with you and don't call us names. So I have a passion for what I do, and people misunderstand because of my voice, and they think I'm threatening and intimidating. No, I love people, and I'm going to tell people the truth, and that's why I respect Pastor Tim. He's willing to stand up and get all the. And this is minimal compared to standing on the truth. So, and that's what drew me even to you, is because I said, man, they got their church open. I said, man, I got, 90%, 95% closed their churches, and Tim has his church open. I said, man, I'm gonna start going there, and I guess the rest is kind of history. Yeah. So appreciate it.
The thing is, we had it open because really it's not my church.
Well, okay.
It's not my church to close.
That's
you
fair.
know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah.
It's God's church.
God's church.
And God didn't tell me to close it.
Right.
And the government doesn't get to tell the church what to do.
That's right.
That's the beauty of living in America, where we do have separation of church and state. And the whole point of separation of church and state is that the state's not allowed to tell the church what to do.
Yeah, that's and I think that's what I think it's been perverted today.
Right.
Separation of church and state. Thomas Jefferson wrote that after he became, that was after the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. So it's to keep the government out of, it's not saying Christians aren't supposed to get involved and talk about, because otherwise you couldn't talk about the moral issues of the day if Christians couldn't speak. And that's what the left keeps doing, is redefining terms and forcing us. And I've said, hey, what if we go to church and die of COVID? If it's when we die of COVID, well, we're going to be with Jesus.
Right.
So why are we shutting the church, especially Easter and Christmas? Why are we shutting down then?
Right.
I mean, I'm not afraid to die. I mean, I don't want to die, but I'm not afraid to die. Right. So yes, it's a misrepresentation, which seems to be the norm today. So keep fighting a good fight.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's a misrepresentation of a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to a seminary. That's what it was.
Yes.
But the point was keeping the church open
because it's God's church.
It's God's church, and the state doesn't. That's what we escaped here in America. We escaped tyranny. We escaped having a state-run church, where the government was controlling the church, and that was why people came to America. Was to get away from that, and so quickly people are perverting it into something it wasn't. So we have a voice. Each one of us has a voice. My goal is to try to get people engaged in the culture war that we're in, and politics is downstream from culture. And what is culture downstream from? Well, it's downstream from church. It's downstream from entertainment. It's downstream from public education. So what is going to be the main thing that affects our culture? And I think it should be the church. And we've failed in that area. And so we're trying to re-engage people in the public square, and everybody has a role, and they're all different. And that's why we have you on the program today, because your role in this is different than mine. And you're out doing what you do, and God has called you to it clearly. You're out there all the time. So what is it that you hope to accomplish by being out there, sharing your signs, getting people to honk, getting people on board with what you're doing? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, that's and it's my opinion, and people have disagreed with me about my stuff, but I believe the church is losing because we are not public. I believe the church does a lot of great things, because people misunderstand me. The church does a lot of, pastors have difficult jobs, the ministries, they have difficult jobs. They're doing a lot of great things. That's not necessarily the problem. The problem is the churches refuse to deal with hot button issues, and we have a responsibility to deal with those. We should be talking about not overwhelming, but we should be talking about transgenderism, critical race theory, LGBTQ, how it's affecting the community and the church, because this is going to empower the kids. And I get 80% of positive feedback. People honk their horns, thank you. Parents will roll their windows down, and the kids will wave at me, give me thumbs up. I'm saying, I'm doing it for you, for the children. And if we were more public, I believe the church does 90% of what it does is private. And the 10% that they do public is what the culture has demanded. You can only talk about you can feed the homeless. You can give gift cards to people. You can take somebody out to lunch. You can buy this or buy that, pay somebody's bill. Just don't talk about the subjects that God says you should talk about. And because we're doing this is the only reason we're losing, not because fake news, not because of big tech, Google and stuff. It's because nobody sees God's people publicly standing up. Christians are everywhere. Government, medical, police, fire department, schools, but we're told not to talk about these subjects. I said, why? If we're going to obey God, let's obey God rather than Caesar. And if we start doing that, and that's what I'm trying to promote, if people see grandparents, parents, children, police officers, doctors, lawyers out standing with us. You don't have to say nothing. I know a lot of people are afraid. You don't have to say nothing. Just wave your hand and smile. More people would agree with us and defend our side. And that's what I'm trying to encourage. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So you're trying to get people engaged. You're giving them an opportunity to have a voice. And it really is. Standing there with that sign is a voice.
It's a voice.
It's saying something. So you're trying to give people that opportunity. How can people connect with you and get out there with you?
Yeah, they can contact me. We're trying to get, I'm calling it the Gideon approach. Gideon had 300 people, so you don't need thousands of people. 300's enough. To contact me at the CVSprojects with an S. It doesn't have an S on it. With an S at gmail.com. We're trying to get people to stand for about 2 hours with a sign. That'll be your message. With a buddy, so you don't have to be afraid. 2 hours once a week for 8 weeks, 40 days. 8 weeks once a week to stand up and be a voice for what we believe in. The left is always telling everybody what the church thinks. We don't tell nobody, the left, and they always lie on us. So I'm saying, why don't we go out and share our message? But we need white people, black people, handicapped people, children, adults to stand with us to show the left that, no, your message is wrong. We are united. And by that, we can start making change, not only in our communities and our schools, but also when we get elected officials, they'll be more bold to stand on the positions we have because they see us every day and people are driving by all the time from all walks of life. And most 80% agree and probably 20% in my experience disagree with our message. So we have the majority. And if we would do this consistently, repetitively, we'll start seeing a shift. And that's how you get change. A paradigm shift only comes when you change the mindset of people.
Well, you're doing a lot of work to try to help change that mindset. And one of the mindsets that really needs to be changed is that we as Christians are supposed to shut up. We're supposed to be quiet. We're not supposed to say anything. That needs to change. We have a voice. We are the majority. There's more with us than are against us, not just in the physical, but also in the spiritual. And you're absolutely right. The left is always trying to tell the church what to think and trying to tell people what we think. And what they end up doing is painting us with several labels. And I want to talk more about those labels, specifically when it comes to the critical race theory that is rooted not just in race, but it's also, we see that there's a gender ideology that's intersectional with that. So I want to talk to you more about that. But that's all the time we have for this program. But so we're gonna cut this short. But I'm gonna have you back. We're gonna talk about the issues of critical race theory.
Thank you.
So Slim, thank you so much for joining us today.